Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Somil Bansali and I am a chartered accountant by profession. In this video, we will study ITC eligibility of CSR expenditure under GST and a very important amendment on CSR expenditure in Finance Bill 2023. But before that, we will understand what is CSR, requirement of CSR under the Companies Act 2013, implication of CSR expenditure under the income tax law, and implication of CSR expenditure under earlier indirect tax law. So as you can see, ये CSR का गेम बहुत लंबा जाएगा, but don't worry guys, CA आया है, सब बता के जाएगा. So let's get started with this video. CSR in simple terms is charity. Companies undertake CSR activity either by way of donating cash to charitable organization or they provide free goods and services. Most common examples are providing free healthcare and education facilities. So, up to 31st March 2014, company used to willingly undertake CSR activities as per their internal policy. But from 1st April 2014, Section 135 of the Companies Act made mandatory for certain categories of company to undertake CSR activities. Also, the activities which needs to be undertaken as a part of CSR were specified in Companies Act 2013. So now let us understand whether this CSR expenditure was allowed as deduction under the income tax law. As per explanation 2 to section 37(1), expenditure incurred under section 135 of the Companies Act 2013 was disallowed. So under Income Tax Act, there was specific disallowance on CSR expenditure. Now let us understand whether SENVAT credit on CSR expenditure was allowed under the indirect tax law. So as per the SENVAT credit rules 2004, the SENVAT credit on goods and services was allowed if those goods and services are used for manufacturing of goods or for providing output services. So let me tell you, there was no specific disallowance or allowance on CSR expenditure under the SENVAT credit rules. Though there was no clarity in the provisions, there were rulings which provided guidance to the taxpayers. So first, we will discuss the ruling of Mumbai Tribunal in case of SL Propel. So in this case, the issue was on allowability of SENVAT credit on input services which were procured to perform CSR activities. So here, Mumbai Tribunal noted that CSR expenditure is not a charity anymore. In fact, it is directly related to the manufacturing process. The tribunal also noted that CSR has been made mandatory under the Companies Act 2013, and by performing this activity, the credit rating of the company enhances in the corporate world. So considering all this point, the tribunal allowed SENVAT credit on input services which were procured to perform CSR activities. Similarly, the larger bench of Mumbai Tribunal in case of Reliance Industries allowed SENVAT credit on CSR expenditure. However, the division bench of Delhi Tribunal in case of Power Finance Corporation disallowed credit on CSR expenditure. So as you can see, there was no much clarity under the erstwhile indirect tax law. Now we will look at the GST provision to understand the ITC eligibility. Section 16(1) of the CGST Act states that ITC on goods and services is allowed if those goods and services are used or intended to be used for business purpose. We need to also look at Section 17(5) to determine ITC eligibility. Section 17(5) disallows credit on certain goods and services. So, if registered person procures goods and services for business purpose, but if those goods and services are specified in Section 17(5), then credit is not allowed. It is pertinent to note that the GST provision do not specifically allow or disallow credit on CSR expenditure. Also, there is no explanation similar to the income tax law under the GST Act. Thus, one may take a view that ITC on CSR expenditure is allowed. But let me tell you guys, department has been issuing notices by placing reliance on clause H of section 17(5) to disallow ITC on CSR expenditure. Clause H of section 17(5) states that ITC on goods given in form of gift is not allowed. So here department tries to equate CSR expenditure with gift. Even after this kind of notices, there are few taxpayers who have continued to avail credit on CSR expenditure. Now let us look at the contrary advance ruling under the GST law. Normally, advance ruling are issued in favor of department when there is not much clarity on the issue. But here we have favorable as well as unfavorable advance ruling. So here one important point to note is the advance ruling is applicable only to that taxpayer who has applied for that ruling. So if any other registered person places reliance on that ruling to avail CSR credit, then he may still receive notice from department to reverse the CSR credit. So as you can see, even under GST, there is no clarity on this issue. And to my mind, government was aware about this issue since earlier regime. Finally, in 2023, the government decided to clear this confusion, and thus they introduced a new entry in section 17(5) White Finance Bill 2023. As per this entry, ITC on goods and services procured to perform CSR activities under section 135 of the Companies Act 2013 is not allowed. The finance bill does not specify whether this amendment will operate retrospectively or prospectively. In absence of this information, one can assume that this amendment will operate prospectively. This amendment may look fairly simple, but let me tell you there are various interpretational issues in this amendment. Let us look at few issues in this video. So first issue is whether the registered person can avail credit on existing procurements until this amendment is notified. So here the registered person can argue that introduction of this amendment clearly suggests that there are no provision under the existing law to disallow ITC on CSR expenditure. But let me tell you guys, department can still issue notice under clause H of section 17(5) to disallow CENVAT credit. Second issue is to what extent CSR credit can be disallowed. So for this, let us go back to the amendment. The amendment uses the phrase activities relating to CSR obligation. So here the issue is whether disallowance is restricted only to the direct credits or the amendment intends to disallow indirect credit as well. So let us take an example. Say company procures legal services to understand their CSR obligation. So here the question is whether ITC on such legal services is allowed. To my mind, there is no clarity on this issue. Now let us look at the third issue. The amendment uses the phrase intended to be used. So say company procures goods and services to perform CSR activities, but after procurement they decided to use those goods and services for some other business purpose. So now here the question is whether credit is disallowed or allowed in this case. In my view, you can go ahead and take credit in this case, but it is better that we get some clarity on this issue from the government. Now let us look at the last issue. There can be a situation where company undertakes CSR activity over and above the mandatory threshold specified to them. Or there can be a situation where there are registered persons other than companies, say partnership firm who undertake CSR activities. So here the question is whether the credit is allowed to these entities. According to me, credit can be availed by such entities, but better clarity from the government will be very helpful. So as we have seen, there are various issues in this amendment. So it is expected that government may issue a circular in future to clarify the scope of this amendment. Thank you so much guys for watching my video.